The Battle of Bobbed Hair. Photoplay, June 1924. Photoplay magazine has made a national investigation of the problem to help you make up your mind. Read what they all say, pro and con. Weigh it carefully, and then let your conscience be your guide. As the lady of long hair majestically entered the hotel lobby, a member of the bobbed hair sisterhood jauntily jeered, "Here comes the horse and buggy." "Bandit," retorted the lady of long hair, with all the venom of outraged womanhood. To bob or not to bob? That is the question that is causing more argument, more acrimonious discussion in this country today than any other, with the possible exception of prohibition. It interests all classes and both sexes. No walk of life is exempt from arguments about it, because women in every walk are debating with themselves and with their friends the questions of whether it will be becoming, whether the fashion will last, what style bob they should have, and 100 other problems that arise when the subject is broached. And the men are in it too. Husbands are interested in the mental reactions of wives on the matter. Asked or unasked, they are giving their opinions. Husbands, as a rule, being conventional, seem to be rather opposed to the new idea, especially so far as their own families are concerned. Not that it will do them any good to object if the wives make up their minds, but they can talk anyway. The emancipated, those who have had their hair bobbed, have coined a term for those who have not. The name is horse and buggy, and this has taken its place beside that other term of opprobrium and scorn, old Ironsides, applied to those of the younger generation who still wear corsets. The bob is in the news every day. "It is an incentive to crime," say the ladies of long hair. "Look at the newspapers." Perhaps the bob is to blame. Perhaps it is a result of the war, and perhaps it is the motion pictures. But it is a fact that all over the country, such headlines as these are common. "Bobbed hair leads to suit for divorce. Bobbing of hair costs 12 nurses' jobs. 23 court clerks must bob their hair. Bob hair bandit collects $350 for spring suit. Shocked husband shoots himself when wife bobs hair. Bobbed hair bandit shoots cashier who objects to being robbed." And a puritanical editorial writer gasps, "What if they had bobbed Lady Godiva?" In an effort to determine the prospects of an early armistice, and to get, if possible, a consensus of opinion on the question of long or short hair, Photoplay has made a nationwide canvass of both camps, seeking opinions from educators, physicians, hairdressers, men and women stars of the screen, stage stars, directors, shopgirls, and passersby. It is perhaps significant that the First Lady of the land, Mrs. Calvin Coolidge, refused to take issue. Her hair is not bobbed. And with the canvass made, the result is still in doubt. A careful recount seems necessary. The dean of one women's college says bobbed hair is barbaric. The dean of another believes that it is a long step in the right direction. A famous hairdresser says in a few years, women will be bald. Another, equally famous, says bunk. The stage is divided. The screen is hopelessly split. Society cannot agree. The shopgirls wrangle bitterly. No well-founded estimate of the number of bobs now in this country is possible. A famous hairdressing place in New York bobs 3,000 heads a week. Another says 6,000 a day are being bobbed. And that is only one city. There are 5 million, perhaps 10 million bobbed heads now in the United States. But there is no doubt that the number is growing rapidly. And so, having acquired a mass of expert opinion, about all Photoplay can do is to offer the high spots of testimony and let its readers judge for themselves. What screen and stage stars say. Irene Castle. Long hair is an empty vanity with some women and suppressed desires with others. With the former, it is inseparably connected with allure. The old trick phrase about woman's crowning glory did that, and with the latter, it is the last stand against being herself. Something they think no lady should be. I'd trust a short-haired woman farther than a long-haired one, believe me. Gloria Swanson. I might as well confess my secret. I'm a kleptomaniac. Cutting hair amounts to an obsession with me. I'm always trimming my own. I love to cut my babies, and I cut Alice Brady's beautifully. I find short hair very convenient for every style of coiffure. I do not always wear it as a bob. With switches of my own hair, I can achieve very easily any effect I want. Elsie Ferguson. These awful straight lines are largely responsible for the bob. They give a boyish effect, and, to complete the picture, the hair must be bobbed. Bobbed hair is not becoming to every woman. The head must be a certain shape to wear the bob effectively. I am for the bob because it makes selection and wearing of hats easier, takes less time to dress, and saves hairpins and nets. No, I haven't bobbed mine. Too many of my friends talked against it, but I may do it yet. BB Daniels. My hair is long, but I prefer the bobbed. The only reason I don't bob mine is that I am required to play so many parts calling for long hair, and I do not like wigs. I think the bob very becoming to most girls. As for becoming bald because of bobbing, I think that is what they call bunk. The hair grows thicker following the scissors. Alma Rubens. Bobbed hair is for comfort, not for looks. It is just vanity which keeps women from cutting their hair. They are afraid they won't look so pretty. Well, they probably won't. But what is the difference? There is something else besides looks in the world. Whenever I see a woman shilly-shallying about cutting her hair, I long to say, "Oh, come off your pedestal, you're no Venus de Milo anyway." Mae Murray. There is so much that is interesting to do in the world that a woman who does not try to rid herself of the routine of life seems to me to lack intelligence. Long hair is a nuisance and a bore, and isn't worth the trouble. Long hair is either a sign of vanity or the result of an old-fashioned mind. Lady Diana Manners, famous English actress. Bobbed hair makes a woman much more comely than a pile of hair. It lends her youth and does not necessarily detract from her dignity. In England, women with bobbed hair are in the majority. In time, 10 or 20 years from now, there may be no woman without bobbed hair. Mademoiselle Simone, noted French stage star. Women seem determined to make themselves as unattractive as possible. It is woman's prerogative to be chic, dainty, delicate. Bobbed hair and flat shoes are woman's curse. A woman who respects her womanhood as well as her appearance will never distort her visage by these unsightly clipped locks. Francine Larimore. Bobbed hair is for young people exclusively. Elderly women with skinny, scrawny necks make bad matters worse by clipping their tresses. Bobbed hair needs a youthful face and youthful contours. Like everything else, however, discretion is the greater part of hairdressing. It is like makeup. It may suit you and it may not. But in its use, you have to use your brains. Mary Astor. Bobbed hair? Never. I see no reason for it. Beautiful long hair is one of woman's greatest charms. When men begin to wear their hair long, I may consider bobbing mine. It seems to me there is too great a tendency on the part of women to copy masculine styles. Knickers, socks, sweaters, cigarettes, bobbed hair. Where shall we stop? Nita Naldi. If you're a Juno, why not try to be a Cupid? I was one of the first to bob my hair, way back in 1916, but I did it because of illness. Now I bob it just above the waist. Some of the girls are very chic with short bobs, but such is not for my type. Be distinctive. If you haven't individuality, you haven't anything. A fashion is justifiable only if it conforms to beauty, and bobbed hair can disfigure just as easily as it can enhance one's appearance. Alice Terry. My hair is thicker and healthier since I have bobbed it. Anna May Wong. A Chinese woman's hair is her chief ornament in life. Chinese women never wear hats, but they put all their ideas of decoration in their hair. As a race, we use hair for head covering instead of hats, so we could not possibly approve of bobbed hair. We think bobbed hair is very dangerous to the femininity and beauty of womankind. Betty Blythe. Naturally, a woman hates to part with her hair, but I have felt 5 years younger since I bobbed mine. In Paris, I shopped for hats, but found none for sale for women with long hair. So, to be in the swim of the present vogue is one reason I bobbed my hair. It makes one feel youthful, for the childish, close lines of the head is youth itself. Marion Davies. No matter what may be said against bobbed hair and the bobbed hair girl, it is a style that has come to stay, and no amount of silly prejudice is going to drive the girl who has once enjoyed the freedom and comfort of short locks back to the unsanitary and uncomfortable mode of long hair. Anna Q. Nilsson. I bobbed my hair for my art. Now don't laugh, I had to. I admit I didn't like it, but now I think that the only thing which prevents all women from doing the same is lack of moral courage. It's funny, but women who can't arrange their hair are the ones who won't have it cut. A woman who is a freak is usually the one who fears to make a freak of herself by bobbing. Doris Kenyon. To bob or not to bob depends, I should say, upon one's desire to appear young, chic, modern. My reason for not bobbing is that to play a serious or semi-dramatic role with bobbed hair is difficult. It makes one appear rather frivolous, but it certainly is youthful, comfortable, and gives a neat appearance. If I were sure it would be becoming to me, would I resist? I wonder. What the men say. Dmitry Bukovetsky, director. I think bobbed hair is atrocious. Every woman, of course, is privileged to cut her hair or not as she pleases. Also, she may tattoo her face and put brass rings in her nose. By 1950, we shall have second and third generations of bobbed hair women. Unless I miss my guess, women will be fighting baldness by that time. What a charming collection of scarecrows they will be, wearing toupees and combing thinning locks over bare places. Charlie Chaplin. I rather fancy bobbed hair as a charming, youthful fashion, not too short and not too dressy. The marcelled bob is too affected, and a net makes bobbed hair look like a hair mattress. I like a girl with straight, sleek hair squared off, or the girl with carefree short curls flying. Harold Lloyd. I might say I don't like bobbed hair a darned bit. I might say it is unromantic and stubbly looking and can never be as beautiful as long hair. But my wife and a lot of her friends and a lot of my friends have bobbed hair, and if I said things like that, they'd get even with me. I believe all men, secretly at least, dislike bobbed hair, and I personally surely do hate that shaved place at the back of a woman's neck. Also, remember that Mary Pickford won Photoplay's recent beauty contest, and she hasn't bobbed her hair yet. Douglas Fairbanks. What do I think of bobbed hair? I think it is beautiful on some, but sensible for all. Therefore, some women look beautiful with bobbed hair, while others look just sensible. Erich von Stroheim, director. I am just old-fashioned enough to prefer long hair. I was reared in an atmosphere where a great deal of attention was paid to women's hairdressing, and I can't get used to the idea that a woman's crowning glory is a shaved neck. Bobbed hair makes women look uniform. They lack individuality. There are millions of styles and manners in which a woman may dress long hair, but there are only a few kinds of bobs. Lou Cody. Bobbed hair? Bah! I'm against it. It's doing more to cause domestic unhappiness than any other single factor in American life today. And what is more, a woman takes unfair advantage in cutting her tresses. How's a man going to sling her around unless he can get a leverage on her? Will Rogers. Bobbed hair may be alright as far as women are concerned, and the barbers, but it has made it tough on us men, who sometimes have to get shaved in a hurry. Every time I try to flip into a chair at the studios, some of Hal Roach's female employees are there getting $2.50 worth of service. Where bobbed hair would really do some good is among some of the screen censorship boards. Fred Niblo. I don't like bobbed-haired women and bob-tailed horses. I think bobbed hair takes the last vestige of femininity away from women and means the death of real romance. I can't picture a heroine of sweetness and charm discarding her long and beautiful tresses for a mannish and ugly bob. Marshall Nealon. I'm for it. My wife's hair is bobbed. Bob tresses remove the hazard of that telltale long blonde hair on the shoulder of a man whose wife is a brunette. The other day, I dropped into my favorite barbershop. Every chair held a woman, and there were 3 others waiting. Not a man in the place, so I fled and shaved myself. First they voted the saloons out, and then they stormed our last retreat. Ramon Navarro. I have a deep feeling against bobbed hair on one score only. It seems to me so hopelessly unromantic. Certainly women have the same right to cut their hair that men have, but I am sorry they have to exercise that right. Sonnets, serenades, elopements, and long tresses seem all out of date. Bobbed hair but buries them deeper in oblivion. Milton Sills. This bobbed hair controversy very certainly puts me in a tight corner with a wife who still wears her hair long and a 13-year-old daughter with a bob. Did you ever see a bald-headed woman? No. Well, you will before long. They'll be trying to brush it over the bald spot and wearing toupees just like mere men. There weren't any bald-headed men in the good old days when we wore flowing locks, but there are plenty of them now. Thomas H. Ince. Bobbed hair is a great thing for a husband. My wife has bobbed hers, and it is one of the comforts of my life. In the old days, I always had to arrange my plans to suit my wife's hair. Now I shout, "Come on, Nell!" and she runs a comb through her hair and is ready for anything: tennis, yachting, swimming, or the theater. As a method for holding a busy husband, I strongly recommend bobbed hair. Rod LaRoque. No woman can be beautiful and uncomfortable. Tight corsets, tighter shoes, and long hair all make for discomfort. Discomfort is the stepping stone to ugliness. Women who persist in clinging to troublesome long hair when all the world approves of the bob risk the same discomfort and its consequences. Short hair is sensible, comfortable, and beautiful. With the passing of long hair, there has arrived a new and more beautiful femininity. Reginald Denny. I'm for bobbed hair every time. Women can spend their time to better advantage cultivating what is under the scalp than what is over it. I never knew a husband yet who didn't have to sit around and wait for his wife to get ready whenever they were going out. William Cohill, casting director. The bob is getting a strong play from the girls who want to break into pictures. I suppose I see 300 would-be extras a day, and 95% of them have short hair. When Herbert Brennan sent me a call for long-haired extras for The Mountebank, it took me 3 days to get 40 of them. William DeMille. Bobbed hair is one of the signs which mark the effort of the human race to get back to the honest thoughts reached by the Greeks 2,000 years ago, and which reformers have prevented our reaching ever since. Hairdresser at famous players' West Coast studio. Bobbed hair may be a blessing, but it doubles the work of the hairdresser. When actresses are cast for long-haired roles, the new style means, for the hairdresser, creating something out of nothing. It multiplies the difficulties of striking coiffures. I can imitate a bob for a long-haired woman, but it takes ingenuity and hard work to make a bob look like long hair. I favor bobbed hair, but not for women whom I have to dress hair. M. Raspanti, manager of barbershop at Franklin Simons, 5th Avenue, New York. Bobbed hair will never become unfashionable. It is the visible sign of the freedom that the modern woman enjoys. Since the war, it has steadily increased in popularity. It is comfortable, healthful for the hair, and very becoming to the average girl. In fact, it is becoming to every girl, for there is a style of bob to suit every face, every set of features, every personality. The proof of its popularity is that, in this shop, we cut about 3,000 bobs a week. What the hairdressers say. Lucian, favorite New York hairdresser to women of the stage. I do not believe that bobbed hair will ever become passé. It is convenient, comfortable, and it gives the appearance of youth. I am sure the fashion was started by the hairdressers to increase the sales of hair and hair goods. The business of making and selling wigs, switches, and transformations is most lucrative. Madame Pons, hairdresser to New York Society. Bobbed hair is not pretty. I dislike it even on young women. I dislike it even more on the matron. I will not permit hair to be bobbed in my shop. The style is undignified and unfeminine. It robs a woman of individuality. It makes all women alike, all of the same prosaic pattern. With long hair, a woman can show as many moods as she can show styles of hairdressing. With bobbed hair, she will find it hard to show more than one mood, one fixed manner. Hulda, of the Drake Hotel, Chicago. Long hair is gone, never to return. It went with the feigning spells and the feminine plaint that I loathe outdoor games. Nowadays, a woman must play golf, swim, ride, shop, dress for dinner and dance, and she must always look her best. Short hair is the only solution. It improves every face because nature never contrived the puffs and curls that were inflicted on us. And any expert barber can tell exactly what kind of bob will suit your head and face. Savelli, who originated bobbing with a razor. I predict the bobbed hair will be popular for 5 years more. I am sure the average woman will, before long, be wearing her hair in the elaborate coiffure of yesterday. But many women, knowing the comfort and convenience of the bob, will never change back. They, however, are the women who are above fashion, who create their own styles. All that is needed to bring long hair back is a fashion that will be becoming to all. William, Congress Hotel Beauty Shop, Chicago. There is a style of haircut for every face, young or old. In the past 6 months, I have cut many more gray heads than dark. Short hair is no longer a matter of fashion only. It is now a question of economy. No smart shops show hats for long-haired women. Only the tiny cloche hats for shingled heads. I predict that in 6 months more, the long-haired woman will be conspicuous. Robert, of 5th Avenue, New York. Women who once thought bobbed hair undignified have come to believe in it. They have realized the common sense underlying the fashion. It is significant that a great number of the women who come to me for bobs are between 35 and 50. The bob saves time in dressing, and in this nervous age, that means a lot. Another thing, women with short hair can sleep more deeply and restfully than their long-haired sisters, and are therefore less nervous. Anna Ryan, beauty expert, New York City. There must be at least 4,000 women a day having their hair bobbed. The number would be greatly increased, I feel sure, if it were not for the fact that the beauty parlors and barbershops are already overworked. The art of hair bobbing has progressed so far that almost any plain woman may acquire distinction by having her hair cut. No matter how old a woman is, she looks younger with her hair bobbed. And, looking younger, she is bound to feel younger. M. Paul, hair specialist, New York City. To my shop come the older women of the city. I specialize in renewing the youth of the hair. And in the last few years, I have noticed that many of these older women, searching as they are after youth, are going in for the girlish coiffer, the bob. Lately, I have often followed the renewing of color by a cutting. I feel that, in so doing, I am making tired scalps healthier, that I am really making the hair younger. A Hollywood hairdresser. My business was about to fail when bobbed hair came in. Since that time, my patronage has increased 5 times in volume. We have discontinued massages and manicures almost entirely, and now the business consists entirely of marcelling bobbed hair. Our most popular girls have their time filled from 2 weeks to a month in advance. Nothing can stop the popularity of bobbed hair. When we tried to bring back long hair, we found it impossible. What the educators say. Helen Mathewson Laughlin, Dean of Girls at the University of California, Southern Branch. We are just about 150 years behind the men. In this human evolution, we are growing more and more to realize that we have just got to keep up with the times. Only a few years are needed to separate women from her long hair and miserable hairpins. Dean Mary Ross Potter, of Northwestern University. I must confess, I rather like the bobbed hair. It rather shocked me at first, but I've come to realize that it is fitting that the girl who keeps stride with the men in science and art, and honestly tries to throw off the handicap that men have given of being the weaker sex, by seeking a uniform such as modern styles in dress and hairdress give her, is to be commended for her spirit. Besides, I really think it is becoming to a young face. C. Nessel, inventor of the Nessel Lanoil wave. The constant cutting of hair weakens the whole scalp structure. I sometimes fear that this bobbing will be responsible for actual baldness among our women. Dean Marion Talbot, Women's Department, University of Chicago. Bobbed hair, and particularly this new method of shingling it, is another deafie that the girls of today are hurling into the teeth of their elders. They've been telling us for 5 years that it is their self-expression that counts, and they've sneered at the delicate, feminine instincts that distinguish their grandmothers. And to back up their arguments about being intellectual equals of men, they shave their necks. It's barbaric. Dr. F. J. Monaghan, Health Commissioner of New York. Long hair can carry germs, and undoubtedly, it often does. It naturally collects more dust and dirt than the shorter hair, which can be more easily covered and washed. Professor A. A. Roback, Harvard University psychologist. As a result of intelligence tests made at Radcliffe, Smith, Simmons, and other women's colleges, I believe that the bobbed hair flapper is undependable, dislikes discipline and enforced tasks, lacks patience, doesn't care to bother with burdensome mental problems, and appreciates only that part of a question which directly affects herself.